We'll start with the halachot of Erev Pesach, right? Before Pesach, from now until Pesach, you're cleaning out your houses, right? Your house has to be clean. Yeah, you don't decide the day before that you're cleaning your house, right? Bedikat chametz is to check to make sure there's nothing left. Not that that's when you're going to start cleaning out your house for chametz. Yeah, you start cleaning out your house a little early, start making sure there's no chametz all around, and then you're going to lead to Erev Pesach. The night before Erev Pesach, you start bedikat chametz. Now, bedikat chametz is a must to search for chametz. You take a candle with a single flame, a single candle, not a big torch, single candle. You light it. You make a blessing on a bi'ur chametz, right, which is for the destruction of the chametz, because you're looking for it now in order to destroy it tomorrow. And you look around your entire house for chametz. That is the mitzvah. We have a minhag, a pisod, to put out 10 little pieces. Right? We make it adin, we hold you don't need it. Make it adin. There are some that hold you do need it, but make it adin, most poskim hold you don't. But we put out a pisod, a pikabbalah, we put out 10 little pieces. Not massive pieces, 10 small little pieces. Together they equal a kazait. Each one should be small and shouldn't be crummy. Get the soft part of the bread. And you put out in different places. And when you walk from room to room, you don't just look for the piece of bread that was put in the room. You have to search the room. To find the bread is the side point. If you didn't find it, that means you didn't look good, yeah? But you got to search the whole room, not just find that piece of bread and leave the room. You search the entire room. You collect the pieces of bread and you destroy it the next day. Now, the way we destroy the chametz is usually with fire. Now, right after you found it, you find the 10 pieces. Before you do anything, in your Marzer, or your Sidur, or your Haggadah, in the beginning, it brings down a lashon to say that you mevatel, that you nullify any hametz that you didn't find. Any hametz you didn't know about, it's nullified. You have to know what you're saying when you say it. It only works if you understand what you're saying. You then go ahead and you take these pieces, you put them on the side somewhere with the stuff you're planning on eating for breakfast, because nobody can keep away from the hametz breakfast. And the next morning, you destroy the hametz. Now, the way it's been done for the past couple hundred years by everybody is we used to burn it. This year, according to a lot of rabbis, most rabbis, they're very worried about people burning hametz in groups. Obviously, if you have a backyard that nobody's going to come to you and you can burn it by yourself, that's the best. But if you can't do that, and a lot of places are not making fires this year, the big ones, so the eitzah that they say is to flush it down the toilet. Obviously, one piece separately from itself, you don't put it all down at once, you don't clog your toilet, you have to make sure that it goes out. And then after you do that, you're going to go ahead and you make another bitul. This time the bitul is everything I know about and don't know about. This way, even if it didn't make it out of your house, I wound up in that S-curve, it's still batil. Or if you put it in the fire and it didn't get fully burnt, it's still nullified. Erev Pesach, you're only allowed to eat the chametz until the end of the 4th hour of the day. The hours of the day, we take the full day, from dawn till 3 stars come out, split it by 12. 4 hours into the day, you can still eat chametz. The 5th hour, you can no longer eat chametz. By the 6th hour, you already have to burn your chametz. Right? All those times will be posted on the WhatsApp from the Bet Knesset about what the times are this particular year. Regarding working on Erev Pesach, so in the morning, till Chatzot Hayom, some people work. After Chatzot Hayom, after midday, people should not work. Nowadays, just about everybody, half the people are not working anyway. So it doesn't really, I'm saying it still makes a big difference, but sadly, people don't necessarily have the work. But if you have a shop where you're selling things and things for Pesach that people need, then you're allowed to go ahead and you're allowed to go ahead and work for these kind of things. Certain things that are needed for the Chag, those things are allowed. Now, regarding the checking for the Hametz, one final thing, your car also is not allowed to have any Hametz. So therefore, you should make sure to check your car also the night before Pesach by when you look for the Hametz. Obviously, you're not going to go to your car with a little candle. There is gas in your car. Not the smartest thing. You take your cell phone, you put on the flashlight, and you just check your car. Yeah, it works the same. And the beracha you made in your home works for that as well. If you have to check your store and these kind of things, obviously, if you can't make it to certain places to check, just sell it. But Now, things that need to be kosherized in your home. The way things work is kabolo kach polto. The same way they received the hametz in them, the same way you get it out. For example, a pot that is used to boil up things, the way you get out the hametz from it. Now, generally, most people have separate pots for Pesach and for the rest of the year. But if a person does not have separate pots, so kabolo kach polto, you would take the pot. Now, pots are I wouldn't really advise fully to do pots. Either way, pots, you'd have to take out the screws, you'd have to take off all the handles, clean it all, and you'd have to have a bigger pot in it full of boiling hot water, and you'd have to dip it in all different sides. I wouldn't really advise it. Cutlery, you just dump in to the boiling hot water. The water has to be atzoledis. That means you stick your finger in, it would scale, it would be burnt right away. Yeah, and you dump it in as long as it's on a rolling boil, and that works. Your sink. So sinks, if you want to kasher them, which is the way you should do, you just take a kettle, boil it up, and pour it all over the sink. A lot of people are machmir that they don't use the sink for 24 hours beforehand. You don't use your sink 24 hours, and then you pour it on top. Anytime you're kosherizing something, you have to wait. You shouldn't use it for 24 hours. Regarding an oven, so a lot of people are blessed to have self-cleaning ovens. If you have a self-clean oven, you just put on a self-clean cycle, and then it is kosherized when the cycle is done. If you do not have a self-cleaned oven, then you need to scrub it out with an acoustic, like easy or something that would make that any taste in there would not be edible afterwards. You scrub the entire inside out. You'd wait 24 hours, and then you'd put it on the highest level, which is 500 or whatever, however high your oven goes, and you'd leave it on for a couple of hours like that. And then some people are machmir to put on top of the grates to put tin foil whenever they're cooking in them. Regarding the gas range, so the gas range as well, you have to clean the entire thing, make it fully clean. The actual hub where the fire comes out of, you just have to turn them on and leave them on for a couple of minutes until the thing gets really, really hot, and that kosherized that. Regarding the grates on top, so there are different views. According to the more stringent views, you need to get them to become red hot. If you have a self-clean oven, you just put the grates in and self-clean them. You will, however, destroy them, probably. They get ruined quite easily from such high heat. The other way that people do it is they turn on the gas range. They turn over. They take the grates, they turn them over. This way, the area that touches the fire always gets kosherized. It gets a little red, but that also kind of ruins them. Some people have separate grates. Chacham Avadia is a little more mekel, he's a little more lenient, and he says you just pour on hot water. Take boiling hot water and pour it over, and that's it. You don't have to destroy your grates. That is according to Chacham Avadia. The countertops, so then if it's made out of granite, it's made out of stone, stuff like that, you just take boiling hot water again, and you pour it over. You pour it straight out from a kli rishon, and that's all you have to do. If it's made out of something which is plastic-based, for example, formica and things like that, then you have a big argument, like a lot of things. And you have some people hold you could kosherize it. Hamavad holds you allowed to kosherize it. And some people hold you can't kosherize it, and they would hold that you cover it. Everybody according to his own way. Somebody just asked if you could pour hot water on the grates and the sink to kill two birds at one stone. Well, you can do it all at the same time. You fill it all up, but you have to make sure to get all the spots of the sink, when you're pouring it over. If you're pouring it on the grate, it's not hitting the sink. The boiling hot water has to hit straight to the sink. So you could do it at the same time, but you first do the sink, and then you could do the grates right afterwards. Some people also put a blech on top. They put the metal piece on top. This way it never touches, and therefore you're for sure fine. Regarding food, regarding, let's say, warming drawers, you can't kosherize warming drawers. You can't kosherize warming drawers. Convection ovens. Anybody has a convection oven to kosherize could contact me privately. Microwaves, you clean them out, leave them for 24 hours. You make sure to spray the fan in the back with an acoustic. It's not like an easy off or a bleach or something like that. You wait 24 hours. You put in a cup of water to the top. Turn it on, full cycle. Right? Gets it all bubbly. Move it. Turn it on a second time. And that's all you got to do. Somebody just asked regarding a barbecue. So a barbecue grill is an issue. You'd have to blowtorch it, which would mean you'd ruin it for all intents and purposes. But if you could go ahead, if you have no problem, one way would be blowtorching it. I saw another way that some people do is you take the hot coals, boil them in hot coals, and you dump it on top, and you cover it with aluminum foil on the lid, and that traps the heat, and it gets extremely hot. Not worth it. Probably easier just to get a second grate to put on top of your barbecue if you have one of those barbecues that you could change your grates on top. Now that's regarding anything else regarding a toaster oven. Toaster ovens are not kosherable. They're not kosherable because you would need a blowtorch and you would blow it up. So it's not smart. Yeah, and those kind of things cost $25 anyway. You know, if you're buying one just for Pesach, you get a very cheap one. There's no inyan to go ahead and spend and get massive things for 8 days. Regarding food for Pesach, a person should try as much as possible to get all food that has a kosher for Passover sign on it. Reason being, when it comes to Pesach, we are more stringent on most things. Things like water, regular water that has no added minerals and no added vitamins, nothing added into it, generally is kosher for Passover without the Passover symbol. The OU has a list of all the things that sometimes have OU, sometimes don't, that do not need to be kosher for Passover. And they include a lot of things. It's quite a long list. Therefore, we're not going to go through the full list right now. If anybody needs, WhatsApp me, and I could just forward you the list, or maybe I'll just put it on the Magen David WhatsApp Shul chat. It's a nice list. It brings on all the waters, which is a lot of waters that do not need a kosher for Passover. You don't need especially the Be'er Mayim Chaim Jewish company. You could use Poland Spring and Crystal Geyser and some of these other companies. They all work the same. Regarding sugar, Sfaradim are much more lenient regarding sugar than Ashkenazim. They hold as long as you buy it for Pesach, it is fine. The same thing regarding plain coffees and plain teas. Once you get into flavored items, flavored drinks, flavored things, then you get into a massive issue, and those usually have to be kosher for Passover. Meat and chicken also, when you buy them, should be kosher for Passover because certain kinds of meat from certain companies sometimes could have issues with the kosher for Passover, but most of the Jewish stores have been selling for kosher for Passover meat for quite a while already, for the past couple of weeks. If you were zocher to get meat a couple of weeks ago. That's really regarding food. Anything else? There are sometimes recalls that come out and things like that. A person has to keep his eye out for all different things that come up. But once again, generally we are more makpid, we are more stringent regarding Pesach to try to make sure that our food is on the highest level and standard and to try to get things that are to the highest level. So usually most food that you get should have a kosher for Passover sign, which a lot of things have. Now, certain things like gloves, right? So plastic gloves, they're latex gloves, they have a powder. So sometimes the powder can be made out of wheat starch. That would be a problem for Pesach. But a lot of them are just made out of cornstarch. For Sfaradim, that is not a problem. Not a problem at all. Even for Ashkenazim, it's not such a big problem. For Sfaradim, there's no problem with these kind of things. It's called kitniyot. So now we get into this whole big rule of kitniyot. Ashkenazim do not eat kitniyot, which includes rice, beans, peas. Peas they do eat. Sorry, rice, beans, chickpeas. I meant chickpeas. And legumes, things like that. These kind of things are a chumrah for the Ashkenazim. Sfaradim, there are different communities that have different chumrot. Different communities that have different stringencies. Everybody should keep to the stringencies of their family that they grew up with, right? Whatever minhagim, whatever customs your family have, you should keep to them. If you married out of your family, if there's a woman married out of her family to her husband, she could adopt her husband's minhagim, especially when they're more lenient than her own minhagim. It is not a problem. If you're using rice on Pesach, so rice on Pesach has to be checked. You have to check it. Generally, it's checked 3 times to make sure there's no wheat mixed into it. Other than that, most of the other kitniyot is generally not too much of an issue. Nowadays, Baruch Hashem, they bring in from Israel a lot of products that are kosher for Passover, kitniot, which are already checked through, which already have a lot of things. They made life a lot easier for Sfardim these days, a lot easier than it was 10 years ago. There's a lot more products on the shelf that they bring in from Israel. Regarding matzah for Pesach, there are two kinds of matzah on the market. There's machine matzah and there's hand matzah. Machine matzah are the square ones, hand matzah are the round ones. Now, for Seder night, for the night of the Seder, according to Hamavadia, it is best to have the hand matzot because generally there's a lot of stringencies of avodim. They're watched from the second that they were cut, the wheat was cut and all that, and it's best to have those avodat yad, those matzot, especially for Seder night. A person who could have it the entire Pesach is even better. Some people are makpid, not by the Sfardim, by the Ashkenazim. There's two views. One view by the Ashkenazim is to have the hand matzot, the round matzot. Another view by the Ashkenazim is not to only have the square matzot, the machine matzot. That is another entire view by Ashkenazim. And they don't eat the hand matzot, even though all the bakeries that make the round ones are all Ashkenazim. Even if you're going to use the square matzot, you need to get shmura matzah, especially for the seder. If you're going to use hand machine matzot for the seder, it should be shmura matzah. It says in big words on top, shmura. Matzah shmura, that means it was watched from the second it was cut. It makes it even better. And that's the matzot that you should use for seder night. Regarding the maror, so there's different marors that are used. There's the salad. Some people use the romaine. Some people use other lettuces, endives. Other people use horseradish. Chamavad holds that the lettuce ones are better than the horseradish ones. Ashkenazim that like feeling pain for some reason like the horseradish better, right? The lettuce tastes much better. And those are the views. If you're using romaine lettuce or any lettuce, you need to make sure there are no bugs in it. You need to check if a bug's beforehand. Check both sides. Look it through. Best is to buy from a company that says on it it's already been checked. And then check it again yourself. Now, if you're using leaves, you need to make sure the leaves are wet. The leaves have to be moist. If you're using the stem, it could be dry. But the leaves need to be slightly moist when you are eating them. Now, if you really want to feel good both ways, you take a little bit of the horseradish, a little bit of the leaf, you put it together, and you put it in your mouth and eat it. It's mitzaref for the kazayit, for the shiur of a kazayit. Wine. The best wine to be used is red wine. According to Hamavadi, you should use red wine is the best wine. And it should be made from grapes. And it should be alcoholic. That is the best thing to use for all four kosot, all 4 cups of wine. Now, how much wine do you need to drink? You need to drink a revi'it. What's a revi'it? So, once again, in Judaism, everything is a machloket. It goes between 2.9 ounces to 5.3 ounces. Hamavadia holds 2.9 ounces. He holds a smaller shiur. It's in the Hazon Avadi. It brings down in grams. If you transfer it to ounces, it seems to be 2.9 ounces. Nobody's cup is that small, though. Your cups are usually bigger. There's no inyan to have this massive cup because you're supposed to drink at least the majority of the cup. And you're not going to be able to get through that. Better to have a slightly smaller cup and you drink out of it, drink a majority of it, at least a revi'it, which is 2.9 fluid ounces, the smaller shiur, which is not that bad. The matzah, you need to eat 1 kazayit for motzi, 1 kazayit for matzah, that's 2 kazayitin. Then again, 1 kazayit for korach when you make the sandwich, and 1 kazayit at the end by 2 kazayitim at the end by afikoman. Now this kazayit is the shiur. He brings down the shiur in grams. Hamavadia. It's roughly, if you buy a box of round matzot and it has around 7 matzot in it, then it'd be roughly a kazayit would be almost half a matzah. So 2 kazayitim would be a little less than a whole matzah according to that shita. We'll maybe put up a diagram on the WhatsApp for everybody to know the exact shiurim to use for each one. The karpas. Karpas is what you dip in the beginning in the water, in the salt water, or in the vinegar, or in the lemon water. People have different things that they dip it into. Karpas is either celery, or I believe some people do cilantro, or Ashkenazim do potatoes, or anything which really has a damat to it. That is generally used for the kalpas, and when you make the hadama on it, you have in mind to be motiu for the maror. Now, a person also has to realize that you have to lean. One of the mitzvot of the night of Pesach is haseba, is leaning. If you are not leaning by the time you need to lean, you're not yotzeh. Only men need to lean halachically. Women, though, it's an argument. According to Hamavadia, women should lean. But if they didn't lean, they're still yotzeh. They don't need to do a redo. Men, if they didn't lean, need to do a redo. That's the difference. Men would have to do a redo, and therefore you're not interested in really drinking 16 cups of wine when you keep on forgetting each time, and therefore you have to try to remember to lean. The leaning is not hard. It's a simple leaning like this, and you have the cup in your hand and you drink it, yeah? All you do is you're leaning on your left side, but you have to make sure to lean on the left, not on the right. Lean on the right, it's nothing. You need to lean on the left side, yeah? Now, Now, the Shulchan Aruch is the meal. Some people are accustomed not to have roasted food by the meal because we don't have the Korban Pesach anymore. And therefore, we don't generally have roasted food. We only have cooked food, baked food, boiled food, not roasted by Seder night. People, we also have accustomed to eat a hard-boiled egg. According to some people, it's at the beginning of the Seder. According to some people, it's the middle of the meal, the Shulchan Aruch. And this is to remembrance of the other korban that was brought by Pesach called the korban Chagiga. And we eat a hard-boiled egg, and a lot of people dip it in salt water or vinegar or lemon water, all according to the custom that you have. All these things should generally be done after nightfall. Even though generally on a regular Shabbat and Yom Tov you could do it early, Pesach you're not supposed to. You should do it after nightfall. Best, 20 minutes after Shekiyah. Even better would be after 3 stars come out, but I don't think most people want to sit around their homes staring at each other for an hour and a half. So generally, at least 20 minutes after Shkia is the earliest year, according to Chamavadia, which is a good thing to do all these mitzvot, because these mitzvot are supposed to be done with the Korban Pesach, was supposed to be, which is after night. The best time to eat afikoman, which is that 2 zaytim of matzah that you're eating all that at the end of the meal, the best time to eat that is before Chatzot, before midnight. Right? There's no mitzvah to make it too long. Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim, there is a mitzvah. To talk about Yetziat Mitzrayim, there is a mitzvah to do during the night. And that you could do the entire night. All right, we're gonna stop here. Maybe we're gonna have one more refresher regarding the actual Seder and how it should look. And once again, the shiur tonight was the Zchut Refuah Shalema for Ophir ben Esther, Yaakov ben Esther, Viva bat Neima, Esther bat Mazal, Eba Yilei ben Chayisara, Yishai Yaniv ben Yafatova, and all the other Jews that sadly have been struck by this coronavirus. May this shiur and the fact that we're always learning Torah and we'll bring Kedusha to ourselves in our home save the entire Jewish people from this Magifah and take it away from us, and that we may all be zocheh to a beautiful Pesach, to really be able to sing out, to thank God for everything that He's done for us and everything that He gives us. Bezrat Hashem, hopefully we'll be able to open the Bet Knesset. Not the first day of the Pesach, hopefully the second day of the Pesach. It's a real heart-wrenching that we can't see everybody in person and we can all meet in person. Bezrat Hashem, hopefully we'll be able to reopen. Everybody should have a good night.